Film archivists have estimated that 90% of the films made worldwide before 1929 and more than half the films made before 1950 are lost forever. After 1950, the numbers are substantially better, but there are still some that have not survived. In the United Kingdom, the BBC continued destroying films into the 1970s. This is a story of one of these films. Before social media and the internet, most amateur films were rarely seen. In 1961, Philip Linder, an amateur filmmaker in Torquay, England, shot a short film in a rock and roll dance club. His film was a love story about the meeting of two teens. Mr. Linder entered his film in a local competition and won. His film ended up entered in Amateur Cineworld magazine's annual competition and won as one of the 10 best of the year for 1961. Copies of the films were put on reels, and the show went on tour in areas like the UK, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and the United States. Opening day was at the National Film Theatre in London on May 24, 1962. Mr. Linder's film, Offbeat, received such a response worldwide that a year later, Amateur Cineworld magazine decided to do a cover story on the making of this film. Since then, none of the printed copies of the film from the film festival have resurfaced. That is until now, when 3 unlabeled 16mm film reels in cans popped up on a Facebook Marketplace listing in Saratoga, California, with a price tag of $10. These reels turned out to contain 9 of the 10 films from the festival. Unfortunately, the reel containing the film Offbeat suffered from severe water damage. About 70% of Offbeat was undamaged, with the rest of the film partially restorable, but unfortunately, the other films on the reel were completely destroyed. This alone makes the find of these films historically significant, but what is in the film makes it something special. The band on the stage in the club and the entire audio track of the film is the Tornadoes. The Tornadoes formed in 1961 as a session band by Joe Meek, and at the time this was filmed, they had not released an album. Nowhere in existence that I can find is any footage of them playing together this early in their career. Almost everyone has heard the Tornadoes, but very few know who they are. Heinz Burt on bass, George Bellamy on rhythm guitar, Clem Catini on drums, Roger Laverne on organ, and Alan Caddy on lead guitar. The Tornadoes are most known for their instrumental single titled Telstar that was released on August 17, 1962. Telstar reached number 1 on the Billboard Top 100 in the United States. Telstar also charted number 1 in Belgium, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, and South Africa. They also charted with other singles including Robot, in which they also filmed an early music video in the Scopatone format. Scopatones were one of the first video jukebox systems that projected 16mm film onto a screen. The success of the Tornadoes launched the career of Joe Meek, who is almost unknown today. Meek was a producer who not only wrote the Tornadoes music, but is unquestionably responsible for creating and recording the first shock rock. His productions include bands such as Screaming Lord Stretch, The Honeycombs, The First New Wave, The Syndicates, The First Freak Beat, The Outlaws, The First Heavy Metal, The Blue Rondos, The Buzz, and The Riot Squad. This film was fully shot on 200 feet of 8mm Peru's U-27 black and white film stock at 16 frames per second. The complete film has a total runtime of about 12 minutes. At the time of the shooting, total production cost was £4.15. By today's standards, that's about $130. The film restoration process started by carefully cleaning and removing as much of the damaged emulsion as possible. Then a 4K digital scan was performed using the RetroScan Universal Mark II system. All of the original footage will be used in the restoration, but unfortunately, most of the damage will still be visible.